Hi everyone, I'm India Hill Brown, the author of The Forgotten Girl, The Girl in the Lake, and Rhythm and Muse. And today we're going to be reading a chapter of Rhythm and Muse. So, before I get into it, get into this cover by Pink Lomain. Isn't it gorgeous? And I don't know if you all know this, but the chapters are kind of formatted like an album. So we have intros, outros, and interludes. And that's why chapter 1 is actually called Intro. So let's get started. So the first paragraph is a dream sequence. I look into her dark brown eyes and grab her hand. I hear the crowd faintly cheering our names in a beautiful song as I spin her around and around, the sound of her laughter drowning out the bass of the music playing. Delia, Darren, the crowd continues. Delia, Darren, Delia, Darren. I pull her closer. Delia, Darren. The deep voice of my best friend Justin interrupts my daydream and fills my ears. Delia and the crowd melt away around me, replaced with the parking lot of the corner store. Did you hear me? He says, waving his ashy hand in front of my face. He scoffs. Don't tell me you were having another Delia daydream. I wasn't, I say uncomfortably, defensively. I heard you. Then what did I say? I pause. I have no idea. Hopefully you asked to borrow some lotion. Justin sucks his teeth as he gets out of the car. It's lunchtime and we're off campus. We just grabbed lunch and we're at the corner store grabbing some snacks to get us through the rest of the day. Darren, come on. This is serious. We're juniors now, Justin says as we walk in and spot our go-to snacks right in the first aisle. He grabs his barbecue chips and lemonade and I grab mine, spicy chips and a bottle of water, and we quickly pay for them and head back out. What's serious? I ask non-committally as we crunch through the gravel towards Justin's car. The remote on his keychain beeps as we approach. He presses the button to start the car. I've been having to pull you out of these Delia daydreams for too long now. And they got worse over the summer. I've had enough. You've had enough. Either ask Delia out or move on. I almost stop in my tracks. But I keep walking so he won't know what he's saying is actually ringing true today. I get it, he continues. Last year, she had a boyfriend already. You didn't want to be disrespectful. This year, though, just walk up to her, talk to her, and ask her out. She'll only say yes or no. But that's the thing, I think to myself. She can say no. And if she does, it'll be over. No more what ifs, no more Delia daydreams. I'd eventually move on, and that would be that. The thought was kind of sad. But all I say is, you make it sound so simple. And it's really not. Delia Dawson, known affectionately as Dilly, creator of the newish hit podcast Dilly D and the Place to Be, transferred to Jameson High School during the second semester of our sophomore year. When I saw her walking the halls for the first time, I immediately knew she was the one. Well, if she wants to be. Her presence commands attention. Her skin is a warm, rich brown that looks like it glows from the inside out. Her lips are full and pink and always shiny with lip gloss, spread apart in a genuine smile or a sneer when someone around her says something ridiculous. The kind of sneer that makes me glad I'm not on the receiving end of it. When she first arrived at Jameson, I joined the chorus of the other kids around school who wanted to know, who is she? Dilly D and the Place to Be hadn't taken off yet, so no one knew much about her. From what I heard, she had a boyfriend from her old school, but they broke up a little while after she transferred, and it ended kind of badly. She started the podcast shortly after that because she wanted an outlet to vent her feelings. He broke up with her on Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day. I knew better than to try to ask her on a date during February, March, or even April. But a lot of guys didn't. She took her thoughts to the podcast, discussing some of the worst pickup lines she'd received. And even though she kept their names anonymous, those guys knew they'd struck out. When I do finally get the courage to ask Delia out, everything has to be perfect. I can't help but feel like I'm only going to get one chance to do it right. It's not like we don't casually talk. We've had a few classes together and even attend the same church. We'll speak sometimes during morning fellowship, in the hallway, or at football games when we see each other. But that's enough for now. I don't want to say too much until she knows I'm interested in her. Then she can see me as a potential boyfriend and not just some random guy she sees around. Darren, Justin says again angrily. I'm sorry, man. What? Justin sighs and rubs his hand over his head, as if me and my Delia daydreams are the most taxing thing in his life right now. Maybe we are. Justin pretty much has it all. He's always the life of the party, liked by everyone, has a huge house, a nice car, and is back on with his on-again, off-again girlfriend, Tiffany. Look, just ask her out, he says again. He has a way of honing in on an issue and not letting it go until it's resolved. I prefer to let my thoughts settle before speaking, but that's how we're different. I know it's not that simple, but this relationship you've had going on with Delia inside your head is creepy. Imagine what she'd think about it. I consider this. It seems like everything is a lot safer inside my head, but the last thing I want is for Delia to see me as creepy. We are juniors now, upperclassmen. This is serious business. I even have a meeting with my guidance counselor after lunch to talk more about the next 2 years. Maybe daydreaming about my crush is underclassmen behavior. It was the first week of school. Time for a fresh start. Alright, I tell Justin as he pulls out of the trash-filled parking lot of the corner store and back to school, the smell of our chicken sandwiches filling up the air. The radio turns on automatically. It takes a second to figure out what the song is since the bass in Justin's car's stereo overpowers the lyrics. The seats and windows vibrate in that way we all know and love every time the beat drops. When the verse starts, I realize it's that new singer, Louis Williams, who a lot of people like, but who, quite frankly, struggles with his notes live. Man, Justin slaps the steering wheel. Whew, that man is a lyrical genius. Do you hear that? No, I say. Between the bass and the auto-tune, how can I? Justin shakes his head. You don't get it. Louis Dot is talking about some real stuff. It sounds just like what me and Tiffany are going through. I say nothing because this is Justin's favorite artist and we've gotten into it countless times about our differences of opinion. I like clear, difficult notes, key changes, and bridges, and this song doesn't have any of that. In the words of the late, great Whitney Houston, I listen to singers. I open my bag and pull out a handful of curly fries, ignoring Justin's warning about not getting crumbs everywhere because he just got his car cleaned. My mind drifts back to what Justin said about Dilly. How should I do it then? I genuinely don't know. I know Justin will though, because when he and Tiffany are off again, Justin wastes no time going out on dates with other girls, at Jameson and beyond. Tiffany does the same thing, dating other guys. It's weird. They'll casually date other people, but everyone, including the two of them, know they'll eventually get back together, and the new daters know to tread lightly, never catching serious feelings. Ask either Tiffany or Justin, and they both tell you in a heartbeat that they're getting married one day, and that this chaotic system just works for them right now. I don't want Delia and me to have that sort of system. Never mind. Maybe I shouldn't have asked Justin for his advice after all. I'm starting to think that maybe he forgot about my question since his favorite singer is on the radio, but this is his thing, helping, giving solicited and unsolicited advice. So he takes the bait before I can take it back. You could always do the obvious thing, walk up to her and ask her, he answers, as he turns on the street our school is on. This is true, but it's not as simple as it sounds. I've seen dudes crash and burn in front of Delia, whether it's because she's with her friends and they did the dirty work for her, or she waved them off herself, thanking them for trying. Even when I do try to talk to her about any old thing, there's rarely any time for that. She's always hustling to her next class, the library, to work on a podcast, always on the brink of being late. The thought of me stammering through asking her out and making her even later to her next commitment makes me feel queasy. That's an option, I say, carefully wiping the crumbs I spit on the seat into a napkin before Justin notices. You could also shoot your shot digitally, clip message her. Messaging on social media, I was better with words written than words said. Maybe I could do that. Another option is all I say. As we pull into the parking lot of Jameson High, I'm thinking about the places I can ask Delia out on a date. Maybe we could go to a local concert or grab a bite to eat or both. Justin and I grab our lunches and snacks and walk to the main courtyard where mostly everyone is walking around, talking, and eating. We head towards our usual spot, the brick wall, which is low enough for us to hop on and get a good view of everything that's going on around us. I notice her walking past the brick wall straight toward us with her two friends, Delia. Justin eyes me pointedly, then veers off to the right, leaving me to walk towards her and her group of friends alone. He must think I'm going to ask her right now. Now. As if I'd say something unrehearsed. As if I had a chance to think about what to say or to consider every scenario in which she could say no. Or yes. But I have to say something because she's right in front of me. What's up, Delia? Mia? Julie? I ask, pretending that I'm seeing her for the first time. Mia and Julie wave at me and keep walking. Delia slows down just a step. Hey, Darren. She eyes me up and down. I like that shirt. The navy blue button-up shirt that I almost didn't buy because it seemed like a beast to iron. The shirt that I almost didn't iron today because I was running late but decided to anyway. I've never been so thankful for my iron. Thank you, I say, and for just another second or two, she's still standing there. Should I compliment her back? Should I say something about the iron? Or maybe, just maybe, I could ask her out. Dilly, come on, I'm hungry, Mia says, waving her over, a small frown on her face. I sympathize. My stomach is growling too. Those curly fries didn't fill me up at all. But I'm coming, Dilly says, walking away from me. I register the curve of her hips as she walks away, but keep my eyes up in case she turns around. She does. What were you saying, Darren? She asks, walking backward now. Oh, I was saying I like your shirt too. She smiles, a brilliant white smile that can disarm anyone. Thanks, she says, and turns around and jogs towards her friends. I'm grinning, walking to where Justin is sitting, thinking of how our interaction is enough to fuel my daydreams for the entire week. Justin is frowning at me, though, the same one that Mia had, but he's still working on his lunch, so it can't be from hunger. What? I asked. What happened? It wasn't the right time, and really it wasn't. It didn't feel right. Justin groans. You saw her. She was in a hurry as usual. Justin finishes off the rest of his chicken sandwich and balls up the foil it was wrapped in. He shoots it towards the trash can. It spins around the rim and pops back out. He groans again, hops off the wall, walks towards it, and picks it up. Darren, look. You are this piece of foil, he says, holding it up to me. I raise an eyebrow. You were shooting your shot. Everything was prepped for success, but you jumped back and chickened out. That's what just happened? Or are your shooting skills just off? No, listen. I'm doing this because we're basically brothers and I'm trying to help you. You gotta get out of your own head, man. Ask her out or leave her alone. As much as I hate to admit it, Justin and his unsolicited chicken sandwich analogy are right. This is the year that I asked Delia out. If she's uninterested, I could live with that. But at least I'd have gathered up the courage to ask. At least I know. I take the wrapper from Justin and toss it to the trash can, and it lands perfectly. He scoffs, and I shrug. If only dating were that easy. In stores now.